Eastern right now. Colin tells you why he's never been more right about Aaron Rodgers. The Herd starts right now. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Undisputed.
This is The Herd. We got a loaded Friday show. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. Man, did I have a power night of sleep last night. 9 solid. Joy Taylor is joining me on a Friday.
Good morning.
Oh, Lord. Has crushed it last night.
What does that mean when you get excited about a full night's sleep?
Don't you wake up every morning and try to figure out in your head how much you slept? I do every day.
Sometimes.
I'm obsessed by it. I'm obsessed by sleep.
There's like an app on your phone that can tell you how much you sleep and how you slept?
No, depending
on how much
I literally grab my phone right before I go to bed and I think, okay, take 15 minutes off. Last night, I just power slept. Got so much energy. We got a great show today. So I want to start with this. I always tell young sportscasters, because I go speak to colleges, I'm meeting a kid tomorrow, I always tell them the same thing. In 2019, you don't have to be controversial. Tell the truth. It's controversial. Nobody wants to hear the truth. Everybody's PC. Even the guys I compete against all over the country at this job, it's Captain Safe Take. Just follow, go to Twitter and say obvious stuff and don't ruffle any feathers. And 9 years ago, I was critical of Aaron Rodgers. He was the golden child in the NFL. You couldn't touch him. I got massive blowback. I remember one time I didn't get blowback. I had Peter King on. I said, Peter, I'm watching his body language. I'm hearing things from former players. And Peter King's really connected. I'm like, the guy's a diva. He's part of the underachieving problem here. And Peter's well-sourced, and Peter's like, I'm not hearing it. And I know I don't have as good a sources as Peter King, because he literally, that's all he does. And I remember getting off the air that day and thinking, am I missing something? I'm watching him. I'm hearing him. But I always trust my eyes, and I always trust my sources. And I stayed on him. And it's so amazing because the last 6 months, it's all coming out. It's all coming out. No more denial. No more, you're a hater. Take your cheese head off. It's the reality. That article yesterday, I thought it overwhelmingly clobbered Mike McCarthy because it unveiled new information on Mike McCarthy. It was a very well done article, very well sourced. A lot of quotes, not all anonymous. Aaron Rodgers, I mostly knew it, so it didn't strike me as new information. This is what I felt about Aaron for years. He's aloof. He's not a great leader. He needs to grow up. He's overly petty. But there is a moment in this article, because this story broke 10 minutes before our show yesterday, so I consumed the article speed reading, and I missed one nugget of this article, and I think it's incredibly damning for Aaron Rodgers. Tyler Dunn reports that Mark Murphy, who's the CEO of the Packers, he's a Harvard guy. Mark's played for the Redskins for years. Mark Murphy's, super smart guy. Really, really one of the smarter guys that runs any team in the NFL. That he called Aaron Rodgers after they hired Matt LaFleur. And he said, don't be the problem. And he repeated it to Aaron Rodgers. Don't be the problem. Murphy, it says, is tired of the diva stuff relating to Rodgers. Folks, his own family's taking shots at him. Grow up. Own it. Young sportscasters, trust your eyes and trust your sources. Don't back down. I was right on Tebow. That's not a starting quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers, I've never been more right in anything. When I read that yesterday, after I got off the show, don't be the problem. Oh, okay. Okay. By the way, the article continues. Here's an important non-development regarding the 12 hours or so since the report. The Packers have said nothing at all in response to various claims and contentions that cast Aaron in a not-so-favorable light. They're worn out by him. Worn out by him. The story continues, says Ryan Grant, former Packer. Aaron's always had a chip on his shoulder with Mike. This is incredible. Since 2005, 14 years, because Aaron was mad that Mike passed on him when he was with the Niners. They took Alex Smith, and Aaron's from NoCal. You're still holding that grudge? I mean, what? So you can't deny it anymore. You can't deny it. Put the cheese head down for 5 minutes. Be a grown-up. Okay, put the pom-poms down. And do a better job if you live in Green Bay of actually reporting on a team and not supporting it. Not rooting, but reporting. This stuff, you can't deny it anymore. You can't. Listen, one of the greatest attributes of Tom Brady, and for years and years, Brady and Aaron Rodgers were compared, and I always said they're not even the same personality. Aaron's much more Big Ben, much more passive-aggressive, much more heavy in the locker room. But one of the great qualities of Brady is that he makes really bad plays. He's had pick sixes in Super Bowls. Tom makes big mistakes. He doesn't have the arm strength or the ability to escape things. Tom's made massive miscues, big games, small games. And he's had fights with his coach. He's had yelling matches with his coordinators. But you know what Brady has the ability to do that Aaron doesn't? Get over it quickly. It's called maturity. It's called being an adult, not holding grudges. That's what separates Brady from Rodgers. Leadership, not talent. Tom's thrown terrible pick sixes in Super Bowls. And the next drive, he's 8 for 8. He gets over stuff. He fought with Belichick. This year, got along great. He's had screaming matches with Josh McDaniels. I'm not saying a little bit of Aaron's chip on the shoulder is all bad. I like the chip. But it can't be a personal peeing match. Like, grow up. Get over it. I mean, 10-year grudges, that's just chain smoking hate. You got to move on. That's beating you up. It's not beating anybody else up. McCarthy's over it. You're not. And there's another quote from Bleacher Report from a former Packer scout that says, Aaron's become worn down and bitter about everybody's expectations and the type of leader he should be. He's Brett Favre 2.0. He used to say, I'll never be like that guy. He literally is. So I thought the report yesterday, it was just a bombshell on McCarthy, and I thought it told me mostly everything I knew about Aaron Rodgers. And I've been told, by the way, and trusted my sources and eyes for 10 years, family, teammates, they've said Greg Jennings is not a hater. He was totally validated in the article. But if this puppy was bad in 2005, I mean, that's on Aaron. Get over it. Move on. Mature. Lead. That's just not acceptable. That's just embarrassing. That's one of those things you wake up and read the article, and if you're the guy, you're like, man, I look like a kid. And you can't have a kid running a franchise. Let's shift to this. Words are important. If I said to you, this is critical. Critical's not the same as, this is desperate. Like critical is a doctor says, listen, you have got to improve your diet over the next 2 years or you could have some physical issues. Desperate is, we got to get you a new heart or you're dead in 6 hours. Critical is important. It is important that you eat more vegetables. Tell my son, much of the disease starts in the mouth. Brush your teeth 2-3 times a day. That is critical. Desperate is, we've got to give you a new lung. Call the doctor immediately. When people go to the hospital and they have to have an emergency surgery, that's desperate. The Lakers are not in critical condition, according to the articles I'm reading today. They're in desperate shape. This story from Brian Windhorst says something. Historically, LeBron has sort of been involved, but not all the way involved because he doesn't necessarily want to be known as the guy who couldn't close the deal in free agency. He doesn't want it all on him. LeBron has perfected the art of influencing deals without taking ownership of them. According to Windhorst, in all honesty, he's been recruiting players to come and try to be in Space Jam this summer. He can't close the deals. Some of the top players, one in particular, they don't want to be punked in the movie by LeBron. Optics matter for stars. That's the thing, folks. When you call yourself the chosen one and the king, you have elevated yourself among even other great players. Paul George chose Applebee's and OKC and Westbrook over LeBron. Kawhi Leonard reportedly more interested in the Clippers than the Lakers. Just think about that for a couple minutes. I saw an anonymous scout said yesterday, The Athletic, very fine subscription-based publication, surveyed 12